Hello and welcome to the London United Filmmaker Podcast. My name is Gregory Randolph. I'm a writer and director from Boston, Massachusetts. I currently live in London, where I attended the London Film School. This podcast is an opportunity for me to tell you about emerging filmmakers currently active in the UK from around the world. Today, I have Fauzan Al Hak on the podcast. Fauzan is a filmmaker from Malaysia. We discuss the similarities and differences between making films between Malaysia and the United Kingdom. We also discuss his London Film School grad film, Alam Maya, a mysterious and surreal drama set in Kuala Lumpur. Fauzan, welcome to the London United Filmmaker Podcast. How are you?
I'm fine, Greg. Thank you for inviting me. It's actually quite an exciting experience to be in this podcast, actually. So,
That's very nice of you. Yeah, it's well, I appreciate you having you. It's just I think it's a great way to exchange some information. We've had a chance to work a little bit. You were Spark. I think the first time we met, you were sparking on Swimming, a film I previously made, which I'm so grateful for. You were there for a couple of days lugging around equipment in, I think, Holborn Community Center. I just remember you really breaking your back, and I'm just very appreciative. I don't know if I was able to thank you as much at the time, but just now, these films are made by hard work of everyone involved, so just appreciate it. I've been a Spark many times myself, so I feel the pain sometimes. But
no, you were busy directing, so
it was
understandable.
Fun.
Yeah,
it was really fun,
yeah.
and luckily that film has been able to go around a little bit and just be seen. So I hope all that work, it did pay off in some ways. So. That's how we first came in contact with each other. You're a couple terms below me at London Film School. I've just been meaning to talk to you because it just seems like you have a really interesting backstory. I really want to talk about your grad film, Alam Maya, which you shot in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and which is where you're originally from. So without me talking my head off, I'd like to ask you, usually how we start with the podcast is at the beginnings and kind of what got you into filmmaking, what were the things, was it a film you watched? Was it somebody that particularly spoke to you about film early on? I'm really curious about what kind of the inklings were that, I really want to take this seriously. I want to do an MA in it. In London, it's a big change to move to a whole different country and do all this. A lot of us have done that. So could you please just kind of give me a little kind of a portrait of what was kind of the initial stages for you?
The funny thing is, there's something that has been playing in my head a lot of times because, to be frank with you, I don't know how I end up doing filmmaking. Yeah. I don't know, I just look back at the stones or the dominoes effect of how I got here because, I actually was a dropout for a bachelor's degree in pharmaceutical chemistry. So I came from a full science background because I was en route on becoming a medical student. Asian things, yeah. But that was in I think it was in 2016, 2017 with Queen Mary because during my second year, I had a long talk with my parents and my dad. I just found out my heart is not in it. And then I took a 1 year gap. That's when I started, I think, hiking. And when I went to multiple countries and went hiking, and just 1 year off, I wasn't thinking about what I want to do, studying and everything, until to a point where I decided, okay, I want to hike Annapurna. Have you heard? Yeah, Annapurna in Nepal.
Okay.
It's like a base camp where you hike 12 days up and down. So it was just I didn't think much of it. But then back then I just wanted to, I want to document this experience. So I bought A6500.
Yeah.
Sony A6500. Yeah.
The
one of it that you're using. So, but mainly to take photographs. That's all. And then I went to base camp. But a month before I went to base camp, I think one of someone I knew back then, actually told me, hey, Fauzan, you have a good camera. Your camera can actually make videos. And that's where it started. Oh, I don't know how to make videos. Teach me. So we started with the iMovie, Final Cut Pro, and then I just fell in love with it. I think it's because at that time when I first made one video and I show it to people, I think it kind of sparked something in me because I actually finished something. So coming from like someone didn't finish his bachelor's degree and then someone to actually made a video and show it to someone, that was it kind of sparked. Oh, I actually enjoyed doing this, but I didn't think much of it back then. As couple of years going down the road, I wasn't into filmmaking back then. It was more on social media, Insta stories, and probably 1 minute videos of snippets. I continued my studying, doing marketing management in Iowa.
In Iowa?
In United States.
Okay, so I just want to get a little picture. You're born in Kuala Lumpur, lived your life in Kuala Lumpur, and then was studying in the sciences in Malaysia.
Queen Mary University in London.
Oh, in London. Okay, okay, I see.
Yeah,
I
so
see.
but then because I dropped out, so my visa was curtailed.
Got it.
So I couldn't continue my studying here, so I have to study somewhere else.
So you were traveling.
I was traveling. I guess I was trying to find my foot somewhere.
I get
guess.
it.
Yeah.
I get it. And then ended up going to Iowa.
Going to Iowa.
What were you studying there?
Marketing management.
Interesting.
Yeah, in one of I would say one of the best business schools in the country. Surprisingly, TP Business School.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time there. Met a lot of people as well, and I actually joined like the students film club. That's where I slowly get into it. But most of the time when I was alone, I would just take out a camera and just record stuff. So yeah.
Cool, very cool. So it sounds like there you were starting to get more into filmmaking. You had your A6500. You had been taking pictures hiking and things like that.
Yeah.
And it slowly sounds like it built up. So you were in Iowa. Can you tell me about after Iowa? And then how did you kind of hear about London Film School? How did you how did that all come about?
That all come about actually my last semester in Iowa, COVID happened. And as I was about to graduate, I was forced to fly back to Malaysia, and then just all with the lockdowns and everything. So I was in the house I think for a solid 3 months, just with my family. But there was a point where the government opened up a bit and they did like a MCO. I forgot what it's called. It's like how you say it? People can go out finally after 3 months. Yeah. But then that's when I thought about it kind of sparked something like where I met few like-minded individuals, especially my friends that we form Quality Productions. Yeah. So that's cool. Where I met. But it all started as a hobby. It's like, hey Fauzan, I see you've been doing a lot of videos on Instagram and whatnot. Can you help us with doing a small sketches or small funny sketches?
Cool.
Then I was like, I'm down for it. It's like at least I get to do something.
That's cool.
And then as time goes on, Quality Productions somehow gave me a safe space to create and just mingle with people and meet all like-minded individuals in storytelling. We just wanted to tell our stories because it consists four of us, and right now there's 5 of us, but back then there was 4 of us, so we just bounce ideas. Hey, I have an idea, let's shoot this, and then it was more like preemptive.
Wow, that's really cool. Sounds like such an organic way of kind of getting around to what really you love to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so cool. So I have 2 questions then. I was wondering if you could tell me I've never been to Kuala Lumpur. I know really not that much about it. I'd love to get your perspective on what it was like living and growing up in Kuala Lumpur. And can you tell me just more about Quality Productions and the other people that are part of Quality Productions and the types of things that you made there? Because it sounds like you guys were making before you even applied to London Film School. You used some of that work to go to the program, and then it sounds like you guys together made your grad film. It was a Quality Productions film.
Yep.
So can you tell me about those 2 things a little bit more?
First of all, about Kuala Lumpur is basically very different compared to London, especially because even though Kuala Lumpur is a I would say, is the capital city and whatnot. The vast difference is that I would say Kuala Lumpur, if you want to get to anywhere, you need a car.
Got it.
In London,
Sounds like US.
yeah, sounds like yes, you need a
driving,
car.
yeah.
Like even like few blocks away, in London you can either walk, and it will be like a fun or leisure walk, or you can take a tube or a bus. But in Malaysia, the public transport is a bit lagged in a way. So we do have like few public transports, but in the middle of the city, or most of the people live outside of the city center, so we need a car.
Cool.
But growing up, I would say in terms of the relationships between people in Malaysia is more community based. So wherever it is, whatever you do is like it's collective. Like, hey, like let's do this, and then people will join in as a community or a collective, as a group of people. Whereas as compared to, especially in my experience in London and also like in Iowa, it's more individualistic. Like it's quite interesting because I even studied this in marketing management. They showed 2 different ads in 2 different countries. I think it was in an Asian country, but I forgot. But in US, if in US the advertisement is more about individual achievements.
Yeah.
Like for example, let's say one of the brands, can't name any brands, but one of the brands is about this guy winning the awards and whatever. But I think it was Saudi Arabia, the same company, but in that demographic, they showed that people like all smiles together, celebrating together, and it's all very family oriented. So it's kind of somehow, yeah, it's quite interesting when I came from a marketing background. Oh, okay. And I could relate it a bit.
Well, it sounds like the community definitely developed around your interest for film with Quality Productions. Can you tell me more about Quality Productions?
Yeah, Quality
Who are
Productions.
Yeah, just the other people, all that.
Yeah. Well, Quality Productions, actually, it was actually formed when I was attached with another media company, because like after COVID, I was actually attached with a company that I actually co-founded as well, but it was mostly to target social media ads, or like it's more of a agency / production kind of way. So Quality Production was there. It started with, I think it was Adiba and Nabil and few of their friends as well, which is Anis, Akmal, Zubai, and all those people. But they were doing like as a hobby thing because they all have daily jobs.
Yeah.
And they kind of do this on like weekend or sometimes different like odd hours. But whereas for me, while I was attached to the company, I was freelancing as well. I was mainly doing second AC because somehow I got the opportunity to be on a tele, like super tele.
Sure.
Yeah, super tele shoot as a BTS photographer.
Cool.
So that's how I managed to get to know all the people who end up working on Alamaya like after 5 years. Yeah, so it was...
Yeah, it came back around.
Yeah, it came back around.
So
yeah.
what's the film and television industry like in Kuala Lumpur? Is it a lot happening? Is it TV oriented? Are films being made there? I'm not so up on some of the latest films that are being made there. Or maybe you can recommend some, or just films that make you think of Malaysia in a specific way. I don't know. I would love to hear more just about that whole aspect of things.
Well, the film industry in Malaysia is not as I would say up to par as our neighboring country as Thailand or Indonesia.
Okay.
But the films there is more still commercial based. So majority of the audience would go for horror films or local made comedy films. Those
Really?
two.
So
in Malaysia.
Comedy, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
horror
cool.
and comedy. But it's the comedy is more like slapstick and not like I don't know how to word it properly, but not like an intelligent kind of comedy films, but
slapstick, more physical comedy,
more physical,
good.
those kind of like more over the top acting,
Sure.
those kind of things. But
Cool.
that's what it sells in the market.
Yeah, sure.
But if one of the films that kind of like one of the filmmakers, I would say, that put Malaysia in the map, especially in various film festivals, I would say Yasmin Ahmad films.
Yasmin Ahmed.
Yeah, she the late Yasmin Ahmad. She made films, like amazing films like Talent Time. I could give you after the podcast like the films that I would recommend, like Sepat, those kind of films. So it's more focused and it's more beautifully shot and film compared to other films at that time. But the funny thing is, her films didn't do well until she passed away. Then people start to be more appreciative. At that time, like back then, people was like, oh, what is this film? Like, no one understands it. Like,
now it's more appreciated.
Now it's more appreciated. And then
what's the themes in her film? What type
for example, like interracial love between a Chinese Malaysian and a Malay Malaysian. Yeah, so because like back then it was a taboo because Malay should marry Malay, Chinese should marry. So it's a multi-ethnic country. So back then it wasn't well received, but now it's more like
open. It was open. People are seeing how open-minded she was, and that's really
very forward-thinking. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Yeah,
cool. Right, and almost predicting maybe what was to come. You know, as far as how those things change and traditions change over time. I'll have to check that work out. That sounds really, really interesting. This is why it's so good to have you on and speak to you, is because I learn, and hopefully an audience is able to learn more about, these great directors, these great filmmakers who you might not have ever been exposed to, and it's actually a great part of London Film School is that's our connection, and it really is kind of the beginnings of really getting kind of a more world view on cinema, which is really great. So I think that leads me to my next question, which is tell me a little bit about your experience at London Film School. I guess I'd be curious a little bit about kind of what drew you to this school, and particularly as you were kind of thinking, maybe film school is right for me, maybe that's where I should go. And then also a little bit about like what types of films you've been exposed to here. Maybe you can talk about a specific film that you worked on that was specifically close to your heart. I'd just love to hear about that portion of like your filmmaking kind of journey, your career, and just get your sense of things.
What drew me? Well, funny thing is, as I was working as a second AC back home, and I think at that time I was a first AC as well. I was sometimes focus pulling, so I wanted to be a DP. So while I was working, and I talked with the gaffer back home and few people in the industry. Hey, I'm thinking of doing my masters in London Film School. What do you think about that? I had polar like views on it, polar opposite views.
Oh, really?
Yeah. First, like some people say that, oh, why should you waste your time? You're already a focus puller. If you work 3 or 4 years, you're gonna be a DP or maybe like camera op. I don't know, because you're already earning, commercial rates and whatnot. And then the other opposite was like telling me, oh, you should do it, man. And then when you go there, share us the knowledge. We would love to. That is kind of an opportunity. So I was in a dilemma. So it was quite a funny position to be in. But I think at that time, the people in quality production, especially Nabil and Nadibah, kind of pushed me into it, because they said that Malaysia, I think not many people have the opportunity to actually spend 2 years to study filmmaking, and then at this level, how awesome the school is. Yeah. Because I enjoyed my time, and I love how much I've learned in London Film School, especially because like back then, to rent a RED camera or even at a Sony A7S III was a luxury, and then coming to London Film School, you get to work on RE system, and then even Panavision, I found out about it. Oh, how awesome Panavision is. So yeah, I've enjoyed my time here in London Film School. And the funny thing is, when I came to London Film School, I get exposed to more amazing filmmakers, more amazing films. Like I even tracked down the list. I even have like every week I come to lecture, and the lecturer quote a certain film, and I don't know that film,
Yeah.
so I wrote it in my notepad. I have to watch this film. So, for example, that's where I discovered Bergman. And that's why in London Film School I discovered Bergman. Even Kurosawa wasn't known in Malaysia, but in London Film School I started to dive into Kurosawa films, and then even Tarkovsky. Those kind of the greats. That's the funny thing. Like I wasn't exposed to all these great filmmakers before coming to LFS. I think some people may have, but for me, I was kind of shut down that part. Yeah.
Me too. No. A lot. Another is like Krzysztof Kozlowski. Just some great European and Asian filmmakers as well. Like it's really it's truly like you get exposed to a lot of different people from a lot of different parts of the world. Opens your mind in a really great way if you're interested in cinema. Also, I get the sense that you were camera oriented. It sounds like you were doing first AC, focus pulling, making a good rate. But it sounds like, just leading up to your grad film, you had an interest. Did you write and you directed the film? Did you write it as well?
I wrote it as well.
So you do have an interest in writing and directing and kind of leading a project in that way. So that sounds like it was something kind of that was in the back of your mind, that it sounds like LFS was able to open the door. And I agree with you too as well, like in regards to like taking the quality of the cameras to another level. That's something for me, even just back in New York and stuff, it was just the how expensive it looked to rent an Ari.
Yeah.
And now here it's like it seems like it's kind of the standard.
They're really supportive of students and upcoming filmmakers as well.
Yeah, and the rental, and it's like a different way, access to the rental companies where you can generally get rates that are more affordable because you're kind of attached to the school. And it just seems like London can be incredibly expensive, but in regards to filmmaking, there are a lot of deals you can make to do things for a little bit less. So, and the school does kind of make that happen. So, that's really great to hear. So I'm wondering, maybe this leads into the grad film a little bit. I know you had different roles. In terms 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5. You do different aspects of it, but I think it'd be more interesting to talk about the grad film and maybe a little bit of the preparation for it. It sounds like you had from the get-go an idea that you wanted to shoot back in Malaysia. But why don't you just walk us through the process of it? Walk us through a little bit of the development, the pre-production, making the film, any kind of, now that the film is done.
Yeah.
Maybe just some ideas about like what you thought of the process of it, things you might do different, things that you loved about it. I'd love to get a full sense of things.
Well, I think before coming to LFS, I think I managed to shoot my first ever short film with quality production. And then when I arrived in LFS, it kind of opened up. There's actually layers and layers of how to get it done. And I think the idea of Alam Maya came about when I was pitching for a Term 5 film, actually, because like I had this idea where a village appeared that it came as an image actually, and the story came afterwards, because I only imagined visually that there's a village and then the village disappears, that's all.
Cool.
And then I talk about it. I think I pitched that idea in Term 5. I didn't get it, but the idea stuck in my mind as I was shooting the Term 5 film. I was actually planning to I had discussion with my advisor, and then as I was going through the ideation of making Alam Maya, I just felt like it's such a personal story. I would say like something that's close to home.
Yeah.
So that's when I decided maybe I should shoot back home, instead of, as much as I want to shoot in London, I just feel like I can't do the film justice if I shoot it here, because like there's so many elements about making it happen. So the process is, as when I went into the process, into the making the film happen, there are 2 departments that kind of like I have to employ the right people, and I have to get this prep done the right way possible, which is the production design department and also the costume department, because those 2 will those two departments, which is Ina and Hana Shafika, which are two amazing costume designer and production designer
Based in
Malaysia,
Cool.
whom I worked with before. Ina is the first person. It is the first time I worked with her, so it was also her first time actually getting the opportunity to costume design from scratch.
Cool.
Yeah, because like I told how I had a chat, I think, with Ina online, well, in term 5, I think 4 or 5 months before our supposed production date. So I had a quick online chat with her. I just told her, because majority of the Malaysian films, and when they use traditional costumes, it's like they rent it somewhere and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the Alam Maya world is supposed to be something that you have never seen.
Cool.
So you should be free to be able to craft the costume from scratch.
Maybe you could talk, because there are some wonderful costumes in it, some wonderful set design in it. Can you maybe just, for the audience, can you describe a little bit of the story of the film?
Yeah.
And then I think sorry, I should have
okay.
preempted it with that. But yeah, if you tell a little bit of the story, the core of the story, you don't have to give away every detail.
Yeah.
Then I think it's helpful to kind of pull away at the different details of it.
Well, the story is about a guy who's overcoming his heartbreak by falling in love with a magical elf. Or in Malaysia culture, we call it Bunyan.
Bunyan.
Yeah, Bunyan.
Yeah, 'cause she has the ears. I was
She has
wondering a
it,
little bit
yeah.
about
So
that.
it's like the Bunyan is actually another word for elf. So I kind of did my research on it. So there were like similar folklores where the elven world, the time doesn't work well there, and
I
also
see.
the Bunyan world also is the same, where people disappears into their world and come back. So it's kind of like a folklore and something that I've been hearing. And the funny thing is, the story about the Bunyan stuck with me because I always hear about it while I was going hiking. Especially, I think I heard from one of the hiking guides in Indonesia. We were hiking Mount Rinjani.
Yeah.
And he was telling us where someone went and hiked and disappears for weeks and came back. He says that he only disappeared for a few hours. So yeah,
that's
so
interesting.
yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. This idea of your kind of past experiences kind of nailed this story down and gave it its meaning. Oh, that's really cool.
So the story kind of like it was mashed. It was a bit mashed because it was personal for me, because I kind of wrote it in a sense where I came out from a long relationship, and also I was given the opportunity to either continue my study in LFS or stay in Malaysia.
Okay.
So it's almost the similar state where I wrote the film and how I imagined the protagonist to be. So that's how Alamaya came to be. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Can I ask you? So, how was the shooting of it? Were there any difficulties? Was there any? What was it like shooting back home after having been making films in London? I assume quality productions was a big part of the whole thing. It sounds like it was. Yeah. I'd love to hear a little bit more about like the production of it and how things went down, and even maybe casting and working with actors. You'd just love to hear more about that side of things.
Yeah. Well, the preparation of it went well, I would say, because I've been prepping and I've been choosing all the HODs who I have in mind. I think it started getting more serious after I finished term 5 and I came back for 3 weeks to do ground prepping. I think shout out to my 2 producers, which is Anis from Quality and also Emmanuel, which is my classmate, who actually believed in the project when I pitched to him. So he went all in with this project. They both of them kind of like, I just told them what I need and they just helped me get the right people for the job. So, but then it came to the production side. So I tried to instill the things that I've learned in London Film School, especially prepping. That's the most important thing. And then during production, I just feel like that's where you start to have space to create, I guess, because you already did so much prep work. For the casting, most of them were actors that I've worked before, apart from the Bunyan Princess. She was the first time that I've worked with. The reason why I chose her because I was recommended, because like she acted in one of the quality short films and I saw her.
Okay, cool.
And then I saw her performance and then I saw her features. She actually has like a feature like a princess elf.
Yeah.
So that's where I go for her and she was down for it. And then after that, we had 2 or 3 rehearsals with the actors. And the Bunyan Princess actually had 3 additional dancing rehearsals.
Wow.
Yeah, because like I added a dancing sequence for the Bunyan Princess, which is in the film. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but then
No, it's good. I think it's all like, because maybe one day after the film festival run, after you get it into some places, maybe it'll be posted somewhere. You never know. Even a trailer, we can include a trailer, whatever, in the description of this podcast, so people can check it out, get a sense of the film.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, so the difficulties, I would say the logistic of it.
Yeah,
because it's quite ambitious project for a grad film, I would say, because we were trying to recreate an elven village instead of like so
where were you making this? So it looked like a park because you had a beautiful view of the city from this like nice vantage point. Was that all done there, or did you find a different location in the woods somewhere? It looks like it was
we actually shot 2 days in the city.
Okay.
And then, which is one inside the apartment and one is all the city parts and including the vantage point. And 2 days actually in the middle of the woods.
Wow.
But it's just like 45 or 40 minutes drive away from Kuala Lumpur, which is still manageable. It's still in driving distance. But it was actually shot in a government sanctuary that they were happy and to rent us out the place. It's actually like a museum for traditional houses of Malaysia, and we actually shot a house which is at the end where people had to walk like 10 minutes to get there. So it's in the middle of the forest, but it's still quite a fun way to be shot. So yeah.
What time of the year were you shooting?
We were shooting middle of October, which is early monsoon season.
Okay.
So it was quite rainy.
Was it raining a lot?
Yeah, it was raining a lot and it was quite worrying, to be honest. And then like actually one of the scenes, or like one of the days, the second day where we were shooting in KL, it was all outdoor scene. And then while we were filming on the vantage point, we were right about to finish the vantage point scene. It rained from, I think it was 9 p.m. until 5 a.m. So, and then we had another outdoor scene to do. So we were delayed because like we had a lot of chat between myself, DP, and the first AD, Ash, which is very helpful when he joined. We talk a lot, and then saying that, do we want to wait this out? It's because it's supposed to be an essential scene to bring the story forward. So we can't just cut it off. So by hook or by crook, we need to shoot the scene by then. And then as we were talking, I think it was 1:30 a.m. or almost 2 a.m. where I just decided, let's find somewhere with a roof or like somewhere that's has covers, and we shoot this scene. And it was the scene in the trailer where the boys meet with the mom and the son. So that was the scene that was supposed to be cut out because of the rain, but we find like a closed shop lot, and we just shot it there on the go.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, okay, Fauzan, I get like a really nice idea for your grad film. some of the difficulties, some of the successes with it. So now that film is done, I wish you the best with submitting it to festivals. I'm sure it's gonna have a great run, and I'd love to hear more about where it's seen. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear, you're back in London now. What have you been recently working on? Are there other projects coming up with London Film School? Just curious as to kind of the current situation now that your grad film's done.
Now my grad film's done. I actually finished cam operating for a classmate of mine for his grad film, which is Greg as well.
Oh yeah,
Greg. Yeah. He shot a funny comedy film called Zombie, and it was a fun shoot as well. So I had a fun time cam operating for him, and then after this, most probably another grad film, which I still don't know what the role is, sometime in June. So hoping that goes off. But apart from that, I think right now it's more focusing on hopefully on narrative projects, especially with quality productions back home. And then also I've recently applied the graduate route visa.
Sure.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to land more opportunities here in UK, maybe back and forth, Malaysia and London. But whatever it is, the main goal is hopefully to be able to make an independent feature back home in Malaysia.
Great.
So that's the plan with quality production as a whole, and everyone in it. We're slowly working towards that. So hopefully the plan is to shoot it sometime by end of this year.
Amazing.
In Malaysia. So that's the plan. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's great because you already have it sounds like this really like supportive team where you all know each other. You've been making films for a while. You just finished your grad film, so you can just continue to grow there. I mean, that's such a great base. Can I ask you what the feature would be about? Is this something you plan to write and direct?
The feature is something I plan to write and direct as well, but it depends on whether we can find the right feature as our first independent feature, because like in order to make films you need the money. So whatever it is, whatever that is that we are able to fit within a certain budget. But one of the story, I think hoping to be able to, if it comes to fruition, is something about family heritage or inheritance. Yeah, inheritance. So it's a family drama kind of in Malaysia, because like in Malaysia we don't have that kind of film yet. Hopefully, unless someone decides to make one. But that's what I'm planning to do, because since it's independent features, so there's a lot of things that is restricted for me to do. For example, minimize the location, minimize the cast, or probably you can't ask this sort of set, so that kind of thing, and even camera wise, so it depends as well.
Is there any film funding options in Malaysia? Is there any any grants or types of things you can apply to?
There are a few grants, but it's quite competitive. There's it's quite a gray area.
Okay.
Because in Malaysia we do have a support funding group, or something like the BFI. In London we have in Malaysia called FINAS, which is something that the BFI does, that supports and give out grants if you apply to it. But the thing is, most of the time, what we or majority of the filmmakers have problems, I may be wrong, but most of the time where I've heard, and we've also as quality production tried to apply, is that the funding either gets rejected because it's quite competitive, or you get accepted but the payment comes out late. So it's quite difficult, because if the money comes late, how are you supposed to go into production? So that's the issue, I guess.
Because I could see you being a prime candidate, given your track record, given that you've made films, given that Quality Productions is a substantial, group that you've been working with for a while. You have a great website and all these things. I could see you being like, if the script is right and the budgets and whatever the submission criteria are, if you really hit that head on, I could see you being a great candidate. But I don't know. I don't really know the exact landscape, but just from my own perspective, I guess. But no, that really answers everything. Again, it's kind of like a past, present, future thing. So you've kind of discussed this idea of wanting to do a future in Malaysia, which is super exciting. Kind of splitting your time, getting more experiences here. I think it's kind of we're in the same boat where it's just we have this great network here. Why completely leave it forever? Especially because you'll be on the grad visa at least the 2 years, and you can see what happens during that time period. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss? Is there any other issues or previous films or anything else that is something that you'd like to discuss on the podcast?
I think I'm not sure. What do you think about the opportunities here in London? I guess
I think it's good. I mean, I think it's really comes down to if you're planning on staying here long term, a long-term visa is important. So the grad visa is great, but you need to either get some work to hire you to stay, or for me, I'm able to go through the global talent visa route. Work-wise, I'm gonna be helping out on another grad film, doing some producing. I love to produce, so I see really as looking full-time for producing work, I think is really important. Because it just seems like that there's a big need for producers, whether you can shoot or edit, that's all well and good. And then as a passion to write and direct is for me, but I can't, those jobs don't seem to be, as prevalent. For me, I've applied to a couple film labs. I was lucky to get into one, so I'll be able to do development of a script through that and apply for a co-production grant through that. And I think once you have the script, then in the pitch deck, you can start to look at other grants and kind of combine things in a way. And so if you can do that on weekends and evenings and focus on full-time work. For me, when it comes, I didn't go into school. I went into school with the writing and directing kind of intention, and a producing intention is kind of like the LFS multidisciplinary. I love to gaff, but I just don't know if that is going to be substantial for me. I don't see those pathways as clearly, but everyone's different, If you can really, bust your ass and just DOP and just do that whole rise, do it, But I think depending on what city, and you really have to make a name for yourself in that city. That's just my own perspective on it as far as really raising eyebrows and then starting to understand how to get, paying, whether commercial clients to just come back to you and kind of, it takes some fostering to do that.
Okay.
So yeah, for me, that's just my own perspective on things. I think for me, producing is like a people-oriented skill, working with people, working, shepherding a film from all aspects of it. I really enjoy that. So that's just my own, but I know a lot of people are more camera oriented or more lighting oriented or more script oriented. And so yeah, that's my thing. I think there's lots of studios here. I think there's lots of potential opportunity, but you have to be very aggressive.
Understand.
Incredibly aggressive to even have people recognize you. You have to send those emails. You have to be there in person. I see this podcast is kind of a networking thing, even though it's kind of just bridging a gap between school and a full-time job.
Yeah, it's quite fun to hear everybody else's experience, because sometimes you can relate to them.
Everyone has a strategy. I mean, and you don't have to live in London. You know what I mean? You can live in a different part of Europe. You can live, where you're from, and it's really about, if you're able to travel or the work allows you to travel a little bit, then I think that's really amazing. But yeah, it's good to think about what your home base of operation is, and then think about, what's stopping you from, if it's not your home country, what's stopping you from being there long term in order to really nail down, paying opportunities. And then from there, the world's your oyster, and you can, if you have the passion for it, you'll write and direct, even if that's just, you kind of see that as you don't really see like the way to make that work. But who knows? You know what I mean? I think that's just for me from where I stand right now. Maybe in a week, all of a sudden, an opportunity will come up where I'm able to write and direct more fully and have that as like a full-time paying gig. They're out there.
Yeah,
the jobs
anything
are out there.
can happen. Yeah.
And I mean, if you made it this far, I mean, why listen to me? Why not just really go after it? So
yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. We've gotten this far, you know, you've made a short film, you know, you've done that. So do the feature. And, you know, maybe it has a market in Malaysia, or maybe it has a market in film festivals. Hopefully. And maybe you're able to travel and do all those great things. I think that's what London Film School is offering, is not only just the education and hands-on production, but
people around.
The people around and the film festivals. It's all stuff that you some of it you have to pick up yourself, but it's all there.
Like the end goal would be first feature you write and direct, right? So will you be doing it here or in the US?
I would love to do a feature, absolutely. Like right now, I'm in a short film lab for another short film, which I'm excited about. And that is, they're doing a little residency at Cannes Film Festival, so I'll be able to go to that for the first time. And then at Linz Film Festival, at their own film festival, where you can compete for a co-production grant. You pitch your idea. And so it's all stuff, but it is far away, you know what I mean? And again, that's why it's kind of in a passion-oriented place right now. You know, right now I want to get my grad film out there and try and have it see some more success. And it's a little bit of a slow roll, like making those films. Again, why this podcast kind of fits that gap.
I understand.
But yeah, I mean, one day absolutely to make a film in Boston or in New York or
lovely place
or US. Yeah, and but it's just those ideas. I have other ideas for short films. I'm writing a feature now, but again, like if I really want to try and make it low budget and make it work and source some people from London Film School, I think I should make it here. You know, if really money is the big the elephant in the room with it, then I think from there. Once you get that first feature out of the way, you'd hope that, you know, that would lead to being able to potentially shoot in another country if you want, or continue to make them here. I think I'm also like a big believer in just making it and not spending too much time. Just make it, you know, make the film, include all of that kind of, not like randomness, but that, you know, kind of working as you go. Just put that into the film. And I think you can sometimes over planning it, I think can kind of diminish it a little bit. I love something that feels a little bit rushed or a little bit documentary oriented, and you learn from that just as much as anything else. That's why I'm also interested in documentary, because I think those two things can collide up against each other nicely. You know, I love a super cinematic, super established world. Like I think Different Faces is like, but Different Faces also had some kind of improvisation and some kind of
something organic.
Yeah, something organic, as opposed to something that feels too like everything was planned to a T. And it's funny because I think Different Faces has a little bit of both of that. Some of the conversations are a little bit like, it feels almost like they were just picked up on the spot, and some of it, and I think the editing and the structure of it is I think more like a actual structured feeling to it, which comes, I think, from like previous editing work I've done and working in TV and things like that. So, but that's the fun of doing what we do, especially with directing, is like you're just molding your own view of things and what you think people haven't seen yet. And also something that is dramatically kind of satisfying, but also maybe funny or intriguing. And then you add music and you add all these cool sound design elements, and you have this own world that, you know, just like you made in your grad film, you know, just with this kind of mysterious village, and, you know, the people kind of freeze in place and all of a sudden you're transported. And, so I think, it's a good question. It's a good question.
I think that's all. And maybe like a final question from me is, do you think you'll be shooting in Malaysia one day?
I would love to.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's the whole fun of it, is like being inspired. Like maybe I'll watch one of the films you were recommending. You know, I've been exposed to a lot of Chinese cinema and Japanese cinema, and, you know, cinema from Taiwan and from the States, everywhere, you know. And I think it's more like I mean, that would be the dream. I think the dream is to make something low budget, feature wise, that is really like engaging, and then from there open your mind like completely. And whether that's making another 10 features here in London, great. But if you, as you're you know what I mean? That's kind of the fun of writing, is that it's not so much about like, I'm just going to stay in this one place. You have to go and have lived experiences that don't necessarily have to do with film.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to hike or, you know, go and live your life and then come back and you have this really great, you know, kind of vision for things, and you pull that all from real life stuff. So absolutely. Absolutely. We'll work with I would love to work with Quality Productions. Meet all your friends.
We would definitely love to work with you in the future. Hopefully.
That's so nice. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that see already, this is what this is about, is like, it's great to learn from these emerging filmmakers such as yourself, but to just create projects, you know. So
thank you. Know. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
So Fauzan, I just want to thank you so much for being on the London United Filmmaker podcast. I hope to have you on again one day. Maybe we could do a director's commentary of your film or something like that, or I want to do more roundtable discussions and things like that. But just thank you so much, and you know, I'm sure I'll be seeing you around.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you so much.